Alright, welcome to 1.18 Survival Minecraft Multiplayer. I'm Crim Raven, and I have finally set up my server once again. This is just a little server for friends, friends of friends, and maybe some other people along the way, hopefully. There's a few people I know that'll be joining once again. Tried it in 1.16, but then they announced the overworld update right after I got started. You know, we got a little system going, and then it just, well... Last time the overworld had a major change, it was completely game-changing, and it is ever so much the same this time again. So it just was kind of worth waiting it out to start it for real so this server could hopefully run for many years. But I'm going to kick things off and actually try to speed through the beginning game as fast as I can. Punching trees, crying in a hole, punching trees, building a workbench, punching trees, enslaving the innocent. Okay, joking aside, I'm making an iron farm first thing, so I'm going to acquire some villagers for their assistance. I've been calling this the Great Valley. I really like this seed. It's just several mountains in a circle around each other with a giant valley in between, thus the Land Before Time reference. There's a lot of other cool spots on the server too. I spent like a month just making seeds, searching through popular seeds, before settling on this one because it just had really neat areas all over the place. There are a couple biomes that are in short supply within, you know, a couple thousand block radius, but otherwise it's pretty solid. Now, normally to start off a world, I like to dig a giant hole and put a bunch of farms in it and then just build my little starter house on top. This time around, because that took a long time in 1.16, because I just drilled down to bedrock and put like a series of farms out going all the way down. One, it makes it a little laggy if you have a lot of stuff going on for certain kinds of farms. So I'm going to build those in a remote location this time, where we can just farm everything all in one place, somewhere that most people just aren't going to go. You know, biomes that just aren't used for building because they're not really the prettiest or whatever it may be. Maybe out on an ocean because it's easier that way than having to clear a bunch of space. Same thing for the villager trading hall. Those tend to create lag. I think that was the main problem I had before, so I'm going to try and avoid that this time. It's going to start here, but I'm going to move it somewhere else. But to start off, I'm going immediately iron farm, and I'm actually making it harder than it has to be because I'm dragging them over in boats, and I didn't really think about the fact that you could just get beds, place them where you want them to go, and they would go to the bed the minute it got late. I don't know why I didn't think of that. As far as the iron farm design, well, there's a lot of great ones out there. You know, Nimbomb, that guy, he will show you how to make an iron farm that is the most insanely efficient thing you could possibly come up with for a giant server. Way overkill from anything I would ever need. You got Shulkercraft, Logical Geek Boy. They make pretty reasonable designs that are not too hard to follow, a little more reasonable for smaller servers. But this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Way back in the day, there was an iron farm you could make just kind of using a hole in the ground with lava in it and a couple water streams that lead into it. It was very inefficient because it sort of relied on the fact that where the iron golems would spawn, they would wander into one of the water streams. But they had to wander around before they would run into one because you didn't actually have enough water to coat the whole thing with. Because it was like part spawn area, part water stream. It was kind of a really clunky design, but it was from like 1.9 or 1.10 or something like that. It was a really long time ago. This is actually an even simpler one by ENX04. That guy is the MacGyver of Minecraft. He is an absolute magician. It's like, here's 2 logs and a shovel. You can make an iron farm. And I kid you not on that. It's just absolutely ridiculously simple. And while it is not the most efficient thing on the world of Minecraft, it doesn't really matter, because you can make it with nothing but a hole in the ground. So you can just instantly have an iron farm as soon as you find a village, which there's one right near here. So, iron farm away. And all of his designs are like that. They're just things you can get started very early game to get ahead very quickly, and I enjoy that a lot, because I have restarted so many worlds. It's something I like about Minecraft. You know, those initial days when you first play are so fun. You can never really recapture those. because you start the game, you don't know how to do anything, you punch your way through a tree and figure it out from there. And you know, you used to have to look up stuff on the internet because there wasn't a guide in the game at all. But as time goes on, you sort of get a little burned out of that, so you know, you can use more clever ways to get yourself further in the game faster. And this guy's design is absolutely ingenious. So you just saw the little bit of a dip down in the world where you can see just it's beds in a hole. And it's deep enough down that they can't spawn any iron golems. It lures a zombie in, sticks it in the boat, and they break eye contact with it just long enough to keep refreshing, and you just dig just where you want them to spawn, and they'll start popping out iron golems. It's exactly where you want them to because there's nowhere else for it to spawn. It's not the most efficient way and possible, but it is so easy. So I just build that here, and I'm gonna get started. And I'm gonna tackle a trading hall right afterward too. I'm just going directly to like the middle of the game rather than the beginning. The only reason this takes multiple days is I keep having to run across the entire valley and back, and I keep forgetting things, so I keep having to run back and forth. It's like, if I had played smart, it wouldn't have even taken that long. I had to stop at one point to increase the draw distance on the server as to how far it lets you see as well. It's on some pretty beefy hardware, so it's very much capable of doing that and having many players on it. Later on for the final iron farm though, I want to move it to a remote location, probably where I'm going to put the other farms as well. I'm kind of thinking maybe using something portal based. I've done that for a guardian farm before, where they just all get sucked into a portal to throw them into the nether to take care of the problem. And I'm thinking that should work for iron golems as well. I've done a design that used to drop them far away from the villagers so they could spawn faster, but it never seemed to work that quickly. Maybe it's the time it takes them to fall away, or maybe it has something to do with the refresh rate of villagers. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm thinking if later on, if I use an iron farm design that just pushes the golems immediately into a portal into the nether, that should reset the spawnability of golems immediately. So I'm thinking that's going to be my in-game design, to just continuously have that going on. But I got a feeling if with that level, I'm going to need a lot of chests, because I know for other farms that drop things off in the nether, because of the way it works with the mob spawning, it can get very quick, very fast. Yeah, but here in the design, it's just the initial dirt blocks will actually get the golems via suffocation damage. But there's lava, actually, fortunately, in a little pool over to the side, so I have that to go grab and can immediately upgrade the farm for that. As soon as I have enough iron to make a bucket, essentially. So that was fortunate as well. It's just a really bountiful valley here. And the horses in the spawn too. That was always the issue with the horses, is by the time you could get the materials to tame one and actually use a horse, you've got wings. But in this case, this is like the one time I'll actually probably get a chance to use a horse, because they're right at the start area. I'm immediately going for villagers, so I can actually get a saddle without having to hope for luck. And I may actually use a horse for a change. And their ability to jump comes in pretty handy, because that powdered snow will absolutely murder you. It's like you will go across the mountain, you will miss a spot, and you will fall straight through to Narnia with that stuff. So this should be great though. So immediately iron farm, and it will be set and done. Kind of the initial start of the server, just immediately going for it. That's it for this one though. Iron farm is really all I wanted to accomplish to get started in the new world. But I have big plans for this. I have some giant base ideas. But before I get there, I'm going to attempt to build essentially every possible kind of farm that you have, and in such a way that it's good enough for all the players on the server. Sad that I'm the closest thing to a redstone person that we have, but I will do my best. So, Until then, see you in the next one.